and to assuage the youth. This must be done in sync with the imperative of national value reorientation that Nigeria requires to build a collective sense of enduring and noble values and national belonging.
And also the Council of Elders of Ohanaeze Ndigbo Worldwide has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to bring to book all those who played remote and immediate roles in the killing, maiming and destruction of Igbo properties in Lagos State, condemning the profiling of Igbos, especially in Lagos and other parts of Nigeria. The council reminded authorities that the current events were similar incidents that triggered the 30-month civil war that claimed the lives of millions of Nigerians. The elders directed Ohanaeze Ndigbo in collaboration with the council to set up a committee of inquiry to carry out a full investigation into the killings and destruction of properties and assets of Ndigbo in Lagos. And the current outgoing spokesperson for the 9th House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, has thrown his hat into the ring for the speakership race of the 10th Legislative House. He says he is more than ready and properly equipped to occupy the converted seat presently occupied by Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, who have held sway since 2019. Honorable Kalu says Nigeria needs a diversity-sensitive leader who understands the different sentiments of the diverse peoples of the country and using it to build a great country where everyone will have a sense of belonging.
The energy of the new people coming on board is that energy that says we want to see freshness in governance. And that is what I'm bringing on board: transformative, legislative interventions, that is based on innovations. And it is only people like us who have been equipped that will be able to bridge that gap.
Speaking further, the lawmaker says for 40 years, the southeastern part of the country has not produced a speaker since the tenure of Honorable Edwin Ume Ezoke. As such, now is time for the Southeast, and he is prepared to lead his colleagues.
From 1983 to date, we're talking about 40 years of my people not sitting on that seat. The question is why? Is it that we don't have competent people? Is it that there is no capacity to be there? And it is high time we, introduce our capacity to Nigerians, our competence to Nigerians, that 40 years, 4 decades was long enough for us to hold the gavel for the House of Representatives. We know we will do well when we occupy that position because of what we are thinking of bringing on board that will strengthen our democracy, knowing that this is the fulcrum of our democracy.
And over 7 aspirants have so far emerged for the #1 seat in the Green Chamber in the past week's boards, as it often says. And the Deputy National Chairman of the Labour Party, Lamidi Apapa, has declared himself as the chairman of the party. And this came after the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, alleged the thugs, aided by police officers, invaded the party's headquarters in Abuja and caused damage to the property. However, Abure blamed the alleged thug invasion on the All Progressive Congress, APC.
The Labour Party office is under attack. All the doors at the national headquarters have been broken and they have entered the office.
Hello and welcome to Plus Events, your favorite social diary show that brings the best and biggest events to your screen. I am Antonia Oshili, and on today's show we have 3 glamorous events that you will enjoy. On our first event, it was a celebration galore as Yoruba veteran actress Mama Rainbow had her 80th birthday party in Lagos. The party was a double celebration as she also used the occasion to mark her 55th year in the movie industry. Plus TV Africa was there to cover.
Restraining Abure from parading himself as chairman of the party. Apapa said Saleh Lawan would now act as the national secretary of the party.
the national chairman of our party and 4 other officers were restrained by Abuja High Court not to parade themselves as officers of the party. This is based on allegation of perjury, forgery, and so on and so forth. And because of that, this National Working Committee emergency meeting is taking place. Because in an occasion like this, there is no room for vacuum. And therefore, this National Working Committee meeting has graciously appointed me as the acting national chairman of the party, while Alhaji Saleh has been appointed as the acting secretary of the party.
And the court had restrained Farouk Ibrahim, National Secretary Clement Ojukwu, and National Organizing Secretary Oluchi Opara Treasurer from parading themselves as national officers of the party. And meanwhile, the All Progressive Congress APC chapter in Rivers State has refuted and disputed claims that its state chairman, Emeka Beke, was suspended by a faction of the party in the state. And this came just hours after Beke, Ehanyichukwu Azubike, the state legal advisor, and Darlington Waju, the state publicity secretary, were all suspended by the party state executive council on Wednesday. The party state executive committee, led by Chike Enyinda, announced their suspension at a media briefing in Port Harcourt, blaming them for the party's poor performance in the 2023 elections in the state.
These leaders, which include the party state chairman, Chief Emeka Beke, and the legal advisor, Mr. Ehanyichukwu Azubike, under the overall leaders of Right Honorable Rotimi Chibuike Amechi, have since 2021 held this party on her knees in Rivers State and have been responsible for the mass exodus of the members of the party into another party, as well as the failure experienced by the party in the just concluded general election in Rivers State. We, the members of the State Executive Committee, therefore resolve as follows. 1. That Chief Emeka Beke, the chairman of All Progressive Congress in Rivers State, is hereby suspended indefinitely for anti-party activities, gross misconduct, and financial mismanagement.
However, Beke and 16 other members of the executive committee refuted the claims in a press briefing at the party's state secretariat in Port Harcourt.
If you understand what is happening to the party, distraction, that's what they want to do, nothing more. If you watch in the last couple of the PDP has been there in the front of INEC, they said they will be there till Friday. That's the last day we're going to file our case in the tribunal. But it's going to be shocking to them that we're going to file our case in the tribunal.
The allegation against our leader, the former transportation minister and former governor of Rivers State, the Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, is preposterous to say the least. Because prior to the general elections, there was no event, there was no meeting, there was nothing of sorts where our leader directed any member of the either the State Working Committee or the State Executive Committee of the APC to vote against our party, the APC. The State Working Committee of the party does not even have powers to suspend any member of the party. The State Working Committee under Article 21 of the 2022 Constitution of the party as amended only enshrines, only gives room for the State Working Committee to recommend.
And also the governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, says Rivers State made the right choice by voting for Bola Tinubu during the presidential election. Tinubu won Rivers amid the face-off between Governor Nyesom Wike and the national leadership. El Rufai, who was in Rivers to inaugurate some road projects constructed, commended Wike for providing the leadership, which made Tinubu's victory in the state possible.
I'm happy that I came after the elections so that no political connotations will be attributed to this visit. The elections are over, and as elected leaders, it's our duty to now serve the people. I want, on behalf of our presidential candidate and our party, to thank you and the good people of Rivers State for making the right choice in voting for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It is the first time since the Fourth Republic started in 1999 that PDP was unable to get 25% in Rivers State. It shows that the people of Rivers can differentiate and they know when to vote for quality, and they voted quality over political sentiments. We want to thank you for providing that leadership, Governor Wike. This country belongs to all of us, and we have a duty to do all that it takes to make Nigeria an egalitarian, progressive, and prosperous society.
In his remark, Wike appreciated El Rufai and other northern APC governors who backed zoning of power to the south when it mattered most.
The president of the south. I don't want to say who voted for it. The result shows. I don't know who took first, I don't know who took second. But it's important that the people of the state supported for the southern president. So I want to commend you and thank you. When it mattered most in this country, when Nigerians were talking about unity, how this country be united and progressive, people like you came out boldly and spoke out that for the unity of this country, it's really important that the presidency, having stayed in the north for 8 years, should move to the south. You stood firm. You are not personal about it, but what you are talking about is the interest of Nigeria.
And the Nigerian Army has placed its officers on red alert over fears of an imminent onslaught by the proscribed Igbo separatist group, Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, according to a memo. The Army authorities said they uncovered a plan by the group to ambush security operatives in the southeast region of the country. The Army warned its men against inflammatory remarks in the public spaces, remain vigilant and carry their rifles while on guard duty. The memo also warned the soldiers to resist from wearing their uniforms outside of the barracks. And the Adamawa State chapter of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, has passed a vote of no confidence on the resident electoral commissioner in the state, Yunusa Hudu, ahead of the April 15th rerun election. Addressing a press conference in Yola, APAC State Chairman Bello Babajo said the REC was incompetent and had already taken sides with a candidate of a political party ahead of the poll. And IPAC Chairman Adamawa State made some comments.
Number one, I will start with saying the commissioner of INEC, Adamawa State, is not competent. We need him to be changed because I overheard him saying there is a threat going around him, that the CP tell him that he cannot guarantee his safety in Adamawa State. I want to use this opportunity to tell Adamawa citizens and Nigeria that is a lie. The Commissioner of Police, the first day that he was on seat, he invited us. We sat down with him. After the introduction, he told us that he is here for peace and he is ready to work No night, no day, nothing. Anytime he's at work. So, and we have been seeing all the best work he has been doing. And we want to say thank you to him. And we want to tell him that we are in support of him and the entire Nigerian police force.
And I'm moving on to other parts of Africa. The Chadian government has announced an unconstitutional pardon for over 380 rebels who were sentenced to life imprisonment over the death of former President Idriss Deby. Deby was killed in 2021 after leading the country's military to the front line to fight rebels from the Front for Change and Concord in Chad. In March, more than 400 rebels were tried and sentenced in a mass trial for acts of terrorism, recruitment of child soldiers, and assaulting the head of state. But in a nationwide broadcast on Wednesday, new President Mahamat Idriss Deby, the former president's son, who took over power following the death of his father, announced the pardon and ordered that the rebels be released from prison. The pardon did not, however, apply to the rebel leader, Muhammad Mahdi Ali, who is on the run. And from news outside Africa, U.S. President Joe Biden's administration has blamed its chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan on his predecessor, Donald Trump, in a new report. A 12-page summary of the report says Mr. Biden was severely constrained by Mr. Trump's decision, including a 2020 deal with the Taliban to end the war. 13 U.S. soldiers and nearly 200 Afghans were killed as U.S. troops scrambled to evacuate more than 120,000 people in a matter of days. A review of decisions and actions leading up to the withdrawal conducted by the State Department and the Pentagon was sent privately to Congress on Thursday. On 26 August, an attack at the airport by two suicide bombers happened. Two suicide bombers killed 170 Afghans and 13 U.S. soldiers.
The president's decision to end the war in Afghanistan was the right one. The United States had long ago accomplished its mission to remove from the battlefield the terrorists who attacked us on 9/11 and to degrade the terrorist threat to the United States from Afghanistan. And now, with that war over, we can more squarely address the most pressing challenges of our day. America is on a stronger strategic footing, more capable to support Ukraine and to meet our security commitments around the world, as well as the competition with China, because it is not fighting a ground war in Afghanistan. But while it was always the president's intent to end that war, it is also undeniable that decisions made and the lack of planning done by the previous administration significantly limited options available to him. President Biden inherited a force presence in Afghanistan of some 2,500 troops. That was the lowest since 2001. He inherited a special immigrant visa program that had been starved of resources. And he inherited a deal struck between the previous administration and the Taliban that called for the complete removal of all U.S. troops by May of 2021, or else the Taliban, which had stopped its attacks while the deal was in place, would go back to war against the United States. The president's transition team asked to see plans for that removal. They asked to see plans for a security transition to the Afghan government. And they asked to see plans to increase the processing of special immigrant visas. None were forthcoming.
And in business, so there has been increased awareness creation for farming in Benue State to augment a flood disaster and increase productivity in the food basket of the nation. Our correspondent Francis Ter's report focuses on the state of irrigation farming in Benue State. The report.
A visit to River Benue Bank shows its underutilization by prospective farmers in the state, though some farmers were seen working to keep the crops up for production. One of the farmers explained the benefit as well as the challenges of the farmers in this season.
Taki, magani da injin da za mu sa ruwa. Kuma mukan samu matsalar kwalirrika a wannan musamman a watan zuwa watan hudu. Amma da farko za mu yi aikin mu lafiya. Amma wannan watan suka kama mukan samu damuwa. Dan wani ma har ya kai ga kamar ma ba zai iya noma amfanin ba. Inda an ka lura yanzu za ka ga wani duk masara ka shuka saboda a lokacin ya gagarin mu.
The low level of irrigation farming in the state is blamed on poor awareness sensitivity and cultural stereotypes of the Benue rural farmers.
There's no awareness like that to farmers. And our tea people, if you go to interior villages, they go to farm from morning to evening. So if there is no rain again, they concentrate on the rainy. There are some crops that you will do and harvest during dry season. So for them to continue with it, they will not have that vibe because they have not gone into it.
Most lands at the back of the rivers are owned by people who don't engage into farming at all. The areas are occupied already. There's no point in getting there. Most farmers who might even have intention to go there, they might end up not getting a piece of land to farm. Except if government can revisit by way of saying, identifying those who own the lands and those who are willing to farm.
According to agricultural experts, the climate change calls for more engagement like irrigation farming.
You know, what this country has done is, should I say, a lot. Benue has been ignored despite the potentials. The irrigation facilities are nearly absent here in Benue. There are none. Despite the availability of two key rivers in Nigeria here in Benue, you have the presence of River Benue, River Katsina, and several of their tributaries and other water bodies that are capable of supporting irrigation farming during the dry season. Unfortunately for us, the incentives to go into irrigation farming is not here.
The crops on the farms are mostly vegetables and corn cultivated in small clusters. This is grossly inadequate to meet up the rising demand, as there is growing need for the government to intervene to boost production. The governor-elect for Benue State stated that his government will prioritize irrigation farming to increase yields as a means for employment and revenue generation.
And that's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us from Limex and Limex.tv and Glow TV apps anywhere in the world. I am Destiny Momo. Many thanks for watching.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bukky November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
My name is Tunji Aziz, and here is my good old days story. I was born in that town of mountains, hills, rocks, and valleys, Okeo, the headquarters of Kajola local government area of Oyo State. Growing up was fun, or as I later came to know, fun and education. I woke up to the firm hands of my uncle Baba Shombade, a Babalawo at Lelade Olele Okeo, for our consultation with Ifa and taking of offerings to issue at the crossroads with the bell from the First Baptist Church Ishia, just across, rousing Christians to come and worship. I would later go to Iliolono, my paternal grandmother's house for Ileya celebration, or to Ileshobaloju Ogon, my grandfather's house. I remember going to church with my uncles, Boda Shola, Boda Bimpe, and may so rest in peace, Boda Raphael. I remember how we sang at Ikore after a huge bowl of rice and stew, which was a rare delicacy at that time. Dawo, dawo, dawo sile Oluwa. Dawo, dawo, dawo sile Oluwa. Owo iresi, koba resi lo. Dawo sile Oluwa. I enjoyed every bit of the annual Egungun festival. The fear created by Olugbojo, Shambeleke, Ogbongbon, Onpepe, ha! Just as I was infatuated by the gentle dance steps of Babalago and Egun Mokoko, I waited eagerly for Odunfa or Ifa festival. I loved the Egungun festival more because of the mesmerizing costumes and guttural voices of the Egungun and the surplus supply of Ole, Moin Moin. Yes, Ole was to Egungun festival what rice and chicken is to Christmas and ram meat is to Ileya or Idi Kabir. I remember how we sang in mockery of those playful Egungun Paka, and how we teased them and ran when they chased us with their long whips. What am I driving out with my story? There was palpable love, understanding and tolerance between all the religions and their worshippers. Those good old days taught me that we could all live in peace, love and understanding. Those good old days shaped my life to accommodate and love and respect everyone, irrespective of their backgrounds.
Good morning and welcome to this Good Friday edition of Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. It's a good day to talk sports. And of course, we are going to be doing that for the next 20-25 minutes or thereabouts, right here live from our studios in Lagos. It promises to be a packed show. There's a lot of women's football on the menu today, although later on in the evening, we will be previewing all the football action that we expect to see.
Hello and welcome to Plus Events, your favorite social diary show that brings the best and biggest events to your screen. I am Antonia Oshili, and on today's show we have